A young man who wanted nothing but a miracle. A story about a young man who didn't want anything else but a miracle. One day a young man was on a sinking ship. At that moment he was desperate. Because he wanted to live. He was determined to experience the supernatural phenomenon. So, he summoned all his mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual strength to ask for a miracle so that he could live. He kneeled down and prayed to God so that he could be saved. But he had other motives behind his needs. The first incident happened where some of the passengers had secured one of the lifeboats and had a spare room for him. They invited him over yelling, "Hey, we have a spare space. Come jump into the lifeboat." But this individual was determined. He refused, while clenching his fists and continuing to pray even more. The ship continued to sink, but this person was determined. He cried out louder so that God could hear him. While the ship was sinking, another situation arose. There was a smaller boat nearby, and after seeing the bigger ship sinking, they decided to spare some room for the victims. He was then offered to come inside the smaller vessel. However, he turned his head in another direction and kept praying for a miracle. In tears, he tore his clothes, crying out to God, "God, come save me." Eventually, the smaller ship was full and couldn't take any more people. The bigger ship was almost sinking down to the ocean. It was only a small portion of the ship that could be seen. Therefore, the guy moved to that small part of the ship which was still floating, kneeling down. This time he prayed even more. But he couldn't yell anymore because he was exhausted. So, he just lay down continuing to pray with his heart. But finally, it was his lucky day, a life-saving helicopter hovering around rescuing the last survivors. The survivors were grateful for it. So the people in the helicopter throw a rope at him so that he can climb. He even got mad and threw the rope away. Then one merciful lifesaver decided to climb down the top to grab him. But when he reached him, this individual tried to toss the lifesaver into the water. He told him, "Don't disturb me, I am praying for a miracle. I am praying to God so that he could bring a miracle for me to be saved." The lifeguard begged him to take the rope because he didn't have any more time before the ship sank. Because after the ship sinks, it would be nearly impossible to save him. Sadly, the miracle believer refused. Then they left him and flew away. Wrath from the other side. When this individual finally drowned and died, then he met his matrimonial ancestors. He remembered it was his great-grandpa. His great-grandpa slapped him in the face. The individual cried out loud, asking, "What did you do that for?" His great-grandpa told him, "Stupid. I did all I could to send a lifeboat your way. And I asked other ancestors to save a spot for you, but you refused." Then as he passed through the portal to another dimension, he met one of their patrimonial ancestors. He remembered her from the family picture. It was his great-grandma. His great-grandma saw him and punched him right in the face. He cried again in pain, asking, "Aren't you happy to see your great-grandson?" His great-grandma told him, "You idiot. I pulled some strings so that small ship lost its way to come and save you. But you refused my help." Then as he continued to reunite with his family on the other side, he finally met his family deity. This deity ordered his army to lock him up and punish him for 1,000 years. Then he asked, "What did I do to deserve this?" In response, the deity told him, "You were playing with forces that you didn't understand clearly. It brought shame to our clan that one of us in the physical dimension is asking for help and we are unable to assist him. Our reputation is tarnished because of your stupidity. You simply wanted to pray for miracles, but your prayer was not genuine. You wanted to show off. You desired miracles. You sought something that violated the human world and its principles. Our entire strength was devoted to helping you. However, you insisted on waiting for God to save you. Did you expect me and my glory to descend on your filthy world just to help you? There are many methods and ways in your world to assist you, but you insisted on supernatural and miracles. For this reason, you have to be punished so that you will never play with forces you don't understand again." Sadly, the poor young man was locked up for 1,000 years and reincarnated as a monk. He was to be a representative and teach people to respect the principles of other realms and earth. Conclusion. I hope you enjoyed the story. The point of the story is that sometimes we pursue miracles and the unexplained just for the sake of it. While we could all use miracles, sometimes. But these small changes are miracles. And these small changes don't mean they are not a help from beyond.